This is a follow-up to a recent video where I explained what the 7 in a 7th chord means. In this lesson, I'm going to show you the 4 most common types of 7th chords and how to play them on the guitar, and these are all going to be movable chord shapes. The most common type of 7th chord is the dominant 7 chord, which is usually just called a 7 chord. Chords like G7, C7, and D7 are dominant 7 chords. The dominant 7 chord is a major triad with a minor 7th added above the root. And for the most part, its function is to lead to another chord, usually a major or minor chord whose root is a perfect 5th lower or a perfect 4th higher than the root of that dominant 7 chord. Here are 4 common ways to play a dominant 7 chord. This one has a root on the 6th string, and it's fingered 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, and 1. So first finger is barring. This one also has a root on the 6th string. It's really just a cut down version of the form we just looked at. We use 4 notes of that form, fingered 1, 2, 4, and 3. We are muting strings 1 and 6. Now this one has a root on the 5th string. It's essentially the same shape as a C7, except we're muting the 1st string, so it's movable. This is fingered 3, 2, 4, and 1. And this one also has the root on the 5th string. This is finger 1, 3, 1, 4, and 1. So finger 1 is barring. The major 7 chord is a major triad with a major 7th added above the root, and it functions as a major chord. The major 7 chord is usually written MAJ7 or a triangle and a 7. And here are some ways you can play major 7 chords. This one has a root on the 6th string, fingered 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, and 1 again. So finger 1 is barring. This one also has a root on the 6th string. It's a smaller version of the one we just looked at. This is fingered 1, 3, 4, 2, and we're muting the 5th string, muting the 1st string. And we do that muting with the left hand. The first finger is slightly touching the 5th string, muting that, and part of my knuckle from the 1st finger is also touching the 1st string down there, so that also mutes that string. Now this one has a root on the 5th string. This is fingered 4, 3, 1, and 1. And I usually just play those middle 4 strings, but you could also add, whoops, excuse me, you could also add the 1st string as well. This one also has a root on the 5th string, fingered 1, 3, 2, 4, and then finger 1 can bar, or you can just play the middle 4 strings, which is what I usually do. But either way, there's another way to play a major 7 chord. The minor 7 chord is a minor triad with a minor 7th added above the root, and it functions as a minor chord. The minor 7 chord is usually written MIN7, a lowercase m and a 7, or a dash and a 7 with the dash meaning minor. And here are some ways you can play minor 7 chords. This one has a root on the 6th string, and is fingered 1, 3, and then finger 1 is just barring everything else. This one also has a root on the 6th string. It's a smaller version of the chord we just looked at. Like the others, we are muting strings 1 and 5. This is fingered 2 on the root, and finger 3 is barring these other strings, strings 2 through 4. Now I like to put finger 3 down, finger 2 slightly over finger 3 to give it a little bit of support. And again, we're muting the 1st string and the 5th string. This one has a root on the 5th string. This is fingered 3, 1, 4, and then 1 again. And another one with the root on the 5th string, fingered 1, 3, 1, 2, and 1. So finger 1 is barring strings 1 through 5. The minor 7 flat 5 chord is a diminished triad with a minor 7th added above the root, and it often precedes a dominant 7, especially in minor keys. This chord can be written min 7 flat 5, a lowercase m 7, a flat sign and a 5, or a dash for minor 7, a flat sign and a 5. The minor 7 flat 5 chord is also called a half diminished chord, so you'll also see it written like this, a little circle with a slash through it. The circle stands for diminished, and the slash makes it half diminished. And here are some ways you can play minor 7 flat 5 or half diminished chords. This one has a root on the 6th string. It's fingered 2, 3, 4, and 1, muting strings 1 and 5. And this one has a root on the 5th string. This is fingered 1, 3, 2, and 4. Make sure you're muting the 1st string, and either mute or don't play the 6th string. You can also play a minor 7 flat 5 this way as a rootless voicing. Now the root is right here, if you want to picture where it would be if you played it. This is fingered 2, then 1, 4, and 1, muting strings 1 and 5. The chords in this lesson were all movable chords, so check out this video if you'd like to learn more about playing movable chords on the guitar. And for more guitar lessons, music theory, and solo guitar arrangements, please subscribe.